Hi everyone, let's have a look at my bullish and bearish medium time frame and low time frame Elliott Wave scenarios on Bitcoin, starting with the bullish scenario where we are looking for a WXY to the downside corrective structure with inside the green Y another three-wave structure in an ABC. Currently price ranging on the 1.618 pulled from the high of X to the low of A to the high of B, which is a rare target for wave C, but still a target, right, for a wave C. Because the 1.618 is also potentially the target of a wave 1, 2, and then a wave 3, 4, and then eventually a wave 5. The main issue I have with this being an impulsive structure to the downside, so a 5-wave move to the downside, has to do with the volume. As it stands now, this move to the downside over here looks more like a C-wave move instead of a 3-wave move. So a wave 3 should be a lot more vertical, should go more vertical as time passes, and also the volume should go up massively. That is what you want to see in a wave 3. Price moving down more vertically, volume moving up more vertically as well. However, in a wave C, which you can see over here, the volume is quite comparable often compared to a wave A, or less than a wave A. And also it's more like horizontal price action instead of going very, very vertical to the downside, right? So if we look at the volume, because that's my main thing, the volume of this move to the downside, as you can see over here, has not really been increasing. It's not very impressive besides this peak, but that was news related. And if we then compare it to this wave A over here, the volume is on quite an equal level. And if we compare it to this move to the downside, the volume here was actually higher on average. So currently this move to the downside volume wise is not very impressive. And therefore it looks more like a wave C than it does compared to a wave 3. So in this particular scenario, we are looking for this to be the end of the correction and we are looking for more upside to come. If we now look at the more bearish scenario, one still expects upside in this particular scenario. So this being the low, an important low made for then an upside move and then eventually downside after. So in this particular scenario, what we are looking for is a potential ABC zigzag, which is then a 5-wave A followed by a 3-wave in a wave B and then eventually a wave C to the downside. So in this particular scenario, this is then an ABC expanding flat, with this being a 3-wave structure, and then you're looking for a 5-wave move to the upside, where an important target area is between 30k and 31k, which also has the triple top over here, which is like a magnet for price, literally. So that is a very, very attractive area. And also the blue target box between 30.2k and 30.4k, which is still untouched, for then potentially a reversal in this area for again a move to the downside. The main problem I have actually with this scenario is time. So wave B at the moment is already 161% longer in time compared to wave A, which you can see with the fib time that I pulled from the high of A to the low of A, and then double click over here. So you can see how long wave B currently takes compared to wave A. And wave B still very much so is inside the time range, I suppose, for a wave B, like being 161 times longer than wave A or 2 times longer is definitely not special or not weird. It's actually also common for a potential wave B, so no problem there. But you don't really want to see it take too long, right? If this is a wave C, you want to see it move it up swiftly to the upside and then eventually potentially have another move to the downside, where a target box at the lows over here is between 24,850 and 24.3k. So that could be quite interesting. Now for a potential wave B over here, and this then being an ABC, the most common target area for a wave B is between the 1.236 and the 1.38. And as you can see, very, very, very nicely respected indeed. And then after this wick, definitely after this wick, you want to see a continuation to the upside. Of course, price can move up, range a bit, move down, and all that sort of stuff, but you don't really want to see this wick taken, else more bearish scenarios might be in place, like this one over here, which still is an impulsive scenario then to the downside, and this being a bigger 1, 2, and then a bigger 3 to the downside, with inside that blue 3, another 1, 2, and then this being a 3. So this wave is then a wave 3 of a bigger wave 3. So you really, really, really want to see volume pick up. And as I already mentioned, volume is not really increasing as much as I would like to see if this is a wave 3 for much more downside in a very bearish scenario. That's why the more bullish scenarios make more sense from an Elliott Wave point of view. And also if this is a very bearish scenario in a 1, 2, 1, 2, being this a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a bigger 3, what I like to see is this being a 1, 2, and then another wave 1, 2 like this, where the second wave 1 takes the low of the first wave 1, but as as you can clearly see that is not the case, because this wave 1 did not take the low of this wave 1 over here. So that is another thing to think about. However, if price does move to the downside and takes the low that we just made at 25.8k, my next target area for sure is going to be the yellow target box, again mentioned between 24,850 and 24.3k, because there's a lot of support in that area. So if price does move down, make sure to keep an eye on this level, I would say. And if we then look at some other confluences before I go into the low time frame scenarios from an Elliott Wave point of view, because this is still medium time frame stuff. This is the volume profile range of the whole range that we have been in since the 17th of March, so quite a while by now. And we are ranging just below the value area low of this range. And we also, after this wick to the downside and a move to the upside, are now basically hanging against this order block on the 4-hour time frame. So we have a little bit of an order block over here, which is can be seen by the white box that I drew, and we have the value area low just above. So if price would manage to go through this order block, I can expect a bit of a move down, but maybe eventually a move to the upside if one can pass this order blocks, this white box, and also pass the value area low, and then maybe moving up, then back testing the value area low, and then doing something like this to break the high. It is going to be very likely we're going to go to the value area high at 29.2k. So that is definitely something to keep into account, because they always say trade the range until it breaks, right? So range trading, and then you can see sometimes price moves above the range, but once it comes back, it moves to the other side. And over here we had a bit of a wick moving up. Then again, we had two moves above the value area high, but then once you get back, you move down again. So very interesting range trading, trade the range until it breaks is often a rule mentioned. And then if we go to the lower time frame scenarios, then I have to go to the 15-minute, and we have both, of course, a bearish and a bullish scenario. So the bearish one is that we are not yet finished with the downtrend, where the scenario that we have at the moment is that this is a 3-wave A followed by a 3-wave in a wave B, and then this is a wave C. So this is a corrective, a 3-wave structure, which is most common seen in a potential wave 4. So this might be a potential wave 4 before you get a move to the downside in a wave 5. As mentioned, the moment this low is broken, I can imagine more bearish scenarios are going to take place, and the next target is the yellow target box. But as long as this low is not going to be broken, we also have to think about the bullish scenario to the upside. Now, of course, price can move to the downside a little bit before upside, which I'll show in a second. But in this bearish scenario, this is an ABC. Expanding flat, where the wave B bounced perfectly in the target area for an expanding flat, as you can see over here, in confluence with that support resistance area at 26k for a very nice impulsive move to the upside. Now this ABC, if this is a potential like bigger wave 4, might also like range a little bit longer, in this being an ABC, which might then be the first structure. It may be a W, then you get a bit of a corrective move, whatever, and then another corrective move to the upside, and then a W XY. But we have to see how that develops. As it stands now, the most common target area for a wave C in an ABC is this white area over here, and as you can see, price is right inside this target area. So for a wave C, this is the target area. If candles are gonna close all the way up here above this upper 1.618, which is sitting at 27.1k, it is gonna be less likely. This is an ABC, and we might think about bullish scenarios. But don't forget that what I'm saying is, if price is going to move to the upside right now, if we first move down and then move up, it can still be a WXY or the bullish scenario, which then is a 1, 2, 3. So in this scenario, what we're looking for is this to be at the end of something. And then we have a wave 1 to the upside in a 5-wave structure, followed by a 3-wave move to the downside before then continuation to the upside for much higher prices, right? Now, interestingly, we do have a daily naked point of control of yesterday sitting at 26.3k. So that is a very important support level for Bitcoin. We also have a little bit of a range over here for some extra support. And if you look at a wave 2, the most common target area for a wave 2 is between the 0.5 and the 0.786 Fibonacci, which sits between 26.3k and 26k. So that is going to be quite an interesting level, especially the 0.5 over here in confluence with the daily naked point of control, that if price is going to move to the downside, one definitely wants to wait and see what the reaction is going to be at this area. Potentially after this move to the upside and then a retracement down, one could get a little bit of bullish divergences as well, which might give a little bit more confidence for then a potential move to the upside in a long position. But then again, no financial advice. You have your plan, your strategy, and whatever you do, of course. But seeing a little bit of support or like anything that provides confidence, or whatever your entry requirements are, would be a potential scenario for more upside. So I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. Please check out the macro and the high time frame video if you're interested. And for now, thanks for watching and subscribing, and I will see you at the next one. Bye bye.